back to day 4 of the Dream Job Sprint. Super excited for what we have in store for you. Backstage, I have 2 very special guests who are going to talk to you about their own job search journeys, and I hope that you can walk away inspired knowing what is possible, because I always say, like, people don't join Happily Hired Formula when they think job searching is easy and they have it all figured out. So you're going to hear their journeys on exactly what allowed them to get happily hired today. Before we dive in, though, I just want to say hello to each and every one of you. Let us know in the chat where you are tuning in from. If you're here for day 4 out of 4, say number 4 in the chat. And before we dive in, I just also want to thank you for all of your energy last night in our masterclass training. I know it cut me off mid-sentence and it kicked me out of the room at our 2-hour mark, but I was just so honored and thrilled to be able to share with you the exact strategies. And if you were live with us, you know that we also opened up enrollment for Happily Hired Formula, which is the signature job search program that guides you through how to job search and get happily hired. I do know that we went over on time last night, and so many of you guys emailed me this morning saying, oh my gosh, I missed it. I saw the minute you called out Dan that we were live, but I had to hop off. And so I missed like what Happily Hired Formula is all about, including the bonus and the gift. And so after our special interviews, I'm actually going to stay on this live stream and I'll walk you through exactly what you missed after the 75-minute mark in case you want to learn all about Happily Hired Formula, what's included, who it's for, and the special discounts and bonuses that I'm going to be extending to you all tonight, because I know a lot of you guys missed it just because it was East Coast time and so many of you guys were like, all right, Emily, it's 10 o'clock. It's time to sleep. So I'm super excited to share all of that with you. And without further ado, let's meet our first guest, which is Jen Collins. I need a drum roll.
Oh no. Hi.
Welcome. I know this is a new platform for you, probably being on live streams, even though we've all been living in the Zoom world.
Zoom is pretty standard, but I think I'm older millennial, so live streaming is outside of my normal zone.
Well, now you can say you're a YouTuber. You have a YouTube.
Dangerous.
Well, I'm super excited to introduce Jen Collins to you. Jen, if you don't mind, can you share just your name? Well, we've covered that. So your location, where you were before, and what you do now.
Sure. So Jen Collins, I'm out of Sacramento, California. I'm definitely a Northern California native. Love it up here. I have spent my career really in the education industry, and most recently, before my current role, I was positioning high quality instructional materials with a major publisher, kind of blending the line between print and software services in local schools. With Happily Hired Formula and Cultivate Pace team, I am in a new role now. I actually, oh geez, it was almost, a year and a half ago, I had a baby. And after returning from maternity leave, I really was ready for a bit of a change, and found this wonderful, amazing position where I am supporting early childhood care providers and states in really trying to overhaul our child care system and really provide better access for everybody. So it's honestly one of the best opportunities for me to blend my family with my career and really try to make big change for our youngest citizens in the States.
Wow, incredible. Okay, so you were working for publishing and sales. And so what's your industry now?
Technically speaking, we're in ed tech, but it's kind of an interesting hybrid. At my current role, I'm a senior account executive with Wonder School. And in this position, I am partnering with state agencies and other government entities, nonprofits, and other networks to provide software services to support childcare providers. So still in a sales role, but a little bit of a different nature and a different industry. And I'm definitely with a very tech forward company. So I'm kind of blurring the lines into the tech world as well.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, what I'd love to hear is what made you decide you need support with your job search? So, maybe you can dive into what you were doing and what was that like realization of like, perhaps some expert advice would be helpful.
Yeah. So my first actual career, I was a college counselor. So my whole job was to help high school students really figure out what they were going to do for university and their careers. And I knew the most successful students I worked with sought help, but took on the responsibility of their task, and really lifted the weight. And so when I decided it was time for a career change or just something new, I knew that I would be most successful with an expert who had really been on the inside of all things job searching and HR, and having kind of a set pathway and a plan in place and support features and the option to reach out and be able to ask questions was really, really helpful. So I knew I would take on the burden, but just knowing that there was an expert on hand was spectacularly helpful.
Oh, wow. You're quite proactive. I feel like most people come to me when they've been job searching for some time and not getting results. But it sounds like you came off of maternity leave and was just like, I need to get like this new career path started. So I'm just going to like go directly to a source.
I'm a bit of a type A personality. I know. If I've decided I'm going to do something, I'm just going to jump in, and I like to connect people and build resources. And so if I knew this was the pathway I was taking, then I wanted to find the expert to help me.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. By the way, for our audience today, feel free to ask any questions in the chat about what Jen is sharing or any questions you have for Jen, just being in happily hired formula and being on the other side now. Okay, so you decided maybe I need some support. How did you decide to enroll in the program? Because I know we didn't know each other before. So
No.
tell me a little bit about that thinking process.
Definitely. So, I had a great position. I was pretty happy, but feeling a little bit stagnant and ready for some change. And so started doing some very low key research and came across, because Facebook, one of your ads on Facebook, and, clicked in. I think at the time you were doing a similar program like you're right now. And I signed up on a whim and listened along. And after that first night, I was ready to go. So I called into your team and set up a formal appointment to discuss what I could possibly do.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I definitely I did my research as to, other career coaches and job seeking professionals out there. To be honest, I felt like you were very personable, and that the work that you were sharing and providing to your clients was not only content focused and targeted and thoughtfully pulled together, but I could ask you questions. I could be vulnerable with you. I really could say, you know what, I think I understand what's going on, but I'm going to need some help here. So I think it's the weirdest thing, but to be able to really show your personality and be authentically yourself was something that I want to do too. So um,
Mm.
your profile resonated nicely with me.
Well, I'm so glad. And I have to say, what you hit on is so key because a lot of the job search can be confronting,
Mhm.
especially as we're putting ourselves out there. It's a very vulnerable place to be. And I think when other people have their careers figured out, but we're still trying to figure it out, it could be really isolating. And yeah, rejections and interviews. I know we talked about that. And Jen, I'm curious because when I saw your background, I was like, oh, like you're gonna kill like your interviews. And you actually got multiple offers, right?
Mhm. I
Okay. But
did. Yeah.
you didn't fully trust or believe that was gonna happen at some point. So can we dive into
Yeah.
that and just kind of
Yeah.
help me understand what you were thinking through?
Sure. So, I mean, I'm sure plenty of your listeners today have severe imposter syndrome, just like myself. I tend to work and dive in and do the best I can, but I didn't have a lot of self confidence. And so I think on paper, I knew that I had a great background, and that I could apply and be successful, but I didn't have that faith in myself.
Mm,
And so really, I think it's the first module that you had in your happily hired formula, where it really talked about, seeing your own personal value and centering yourself on your goals and being your own champion, and looking into the future. A lot of that just really helped me center myself on, I'm doing this for myself,
mm.
and I am worthy of a better opportunity, and people or employers will be thrilled to have me on their team. So I just have to put faith into myself and kind of do a little bit of fake it till you make it, and smooth out the bumps along the way. But it's actually been a really nice personal lesson and takeaway over this process, is just to be
Mm.
comfortable where I am and strive for more.
Yeah, the job search journey is definitely a personal growth journey for sure. So can you tell us, I know you got multiple offers, but how did
Mhm.
you get your initial foot in the door of these companies?
Ooh, well, I went through all of your modules because, again, my apologies, my
That's okay.
puppies are barking.
No worries. It
Stay with
happens.
me.
Not
Um,
21.
Yep. So I went through the modules, and really, when I felt that my resume, my LinkedIn profile were ready, I come from a background in sales, and I'm pretty used to cold calls and outreach. And so I knew just applying wasn't going to do the trick on its own. So I really made sure to hone in on my story, my message, what I could provide to an employer, and really worked on networking and connecting via LinkedIn, providing very polished and professional applications, following up, and bringing my authentic self to the table every time that I had the opportunity to interview or phone screen.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. I remember when we chatted, we were
Mhm.
like, all right, Jen, be your authentic self because you're going to show up as that on day one at the work
Mhm.
job or at the job site.
Mhm.
But when you're trying to mask yourself during the interview,
Mhm.
that's yeah, just really hard. And somebody says that they have a phone interview tomorrow morning. Any tips,
Ah.
please? And that's what I'm going to say, right? What would you say, Jen?
Ooh, well, I would say, it depends on your personality, but I tend to be really bubbly and smiley. So as silly as it is, smile as you're talking. Put yourself as if you are putting your best foot forward. So, be dressed, ready to go, have your notes, do your background research, smile, and just know that first phone interview, in my experience, tended to be a lot about kind of a personality vibe, just to make sure that you are what you say you are on your application.
Mhm.
And going back to that authentic self, if you are going to take a position with this company, that's who you're going to be, and be comfortable saying that I am worthy, and you would be thrilled to have me on your team.
Ah, I love it. Claim your
Mhm.
confidence, do your research, have your personal brand, network, do your outreach, especially if you're in a sales position and that's
Mhm.
part of your job. It can go so far walking the walk during the interview process or
Mhm.
I guess job search process
Mhm.
so that they can see the skills that you have. So incredible, incredible. All right, I know we're short on time, so let me
Mhm.
know, Jen. Um, what did you ultimately walk away with? Like
Ooh.
out of this
uh, the non-price tag result is just extreme confidence, and not arrogant, but just being centered in myself and my career journey. I actually was so pleased with my time with your team that I'm joining your thought leader lab, and really I'm already seeing results out of that. So having that partner and that coach was just spectacular. What our fellow listeners are probably most interested in is I actually almost doubled my base salary.
wow.
So I mean, the offer blew my mind, to be honest with you. I'm with a startup, and they are excited to bring me on, but just the base alone is life changing for my family. It allows my husband to stay home with our daughter, and for me to focus on work. And I know that my employer is so thrilled to have me on their team, and it's just spectacular. And the opportunity for growth is huge too. You know, I can't wait to see where we take it. And I really just feel like bringing myself to work, not only can I be who I am, but we're all working for a collectively amazing role and future. So it's just a lot of conflicting needs nicely aligned in my life. So I'm
Wow.
thrilled.
That's incredible. I could hear the impact and like the challenge, the
Mhm.
growth, the income, and also the lifestyle change. Like that's
Yeah,
humongous, especially with your daughter.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. That makes me so
yeah,
happy. Like I knew you had an amazing package, but I didn't know it was like double, like nearly double. So that's
yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. It's pretty great.
yeah. I would say. So, Jen,
Mm,
I would also love to hear. I know you were working while you were job searching. So,
mhm,
how did you
mhm.
manage that?
It was a little rough, and actually, that's a good question because I feel when I first started out, I had decided, okay, type A personality. I'm going to do all the modules, and I'm going to start going, and it's just going to happen and over. And that's not really how employment works. So I made sure to intentionally carve out time. Like I had it marked off on my calendar after my job was done. My husband and I, we made the time in our family schedule for me to really invest in this. So
Mhm.
being intentional, it matters, and really not compromising on that time is really important.
Mhm.
That being said, too, I cannot tell you how many nights when I'm up at 11 o'clock and can't sleep because I want to turn my brain off during that time period. And I just kept repeating to myself, the great, perfect opportunity will come when it comes. And I know, Emily, you've shared this. You just got to keep putting yourself out there, get visible, start talking to people, take that meeting, and just believe in yourself. It's a lot of faith, but it pays off because if you keep working, you're going to get there. So,
That's awesome. I love it. Great sage advice. Okay, so last question is: would you recommend Happily Hard Formula? And if yes, like who do you think it's for?
I think the answer is definitely yes. Happily Hired Formula has been spectacular. I was a little bit unsure how I would handle it kind of coming in because I tend to be independent and really not seek out community. But um, it was such a gentle and welcoming experience. And I could get an immediate answer as I needed it. And, if I was in that kind of quick mode, that was there. But I also felt confident and comfortable and supported. So I would say, really, anyone who's unsure, take the leap, jump in, engage, take advantage of everyone else. And one of the things that really surprised me that I didn't expect to really find valuable is just watching along the Facebook group and hearing other
Mm,
people's stories and sharing out resources and ideas. And so, it kind of goes back to make yourself visible and get out there because good things will come to you if you're putting out happiness and good vibes.
yeah, I love that. I know we have the most incredible community, and so many of them are sharing like resources and job opportunities. And I think it's helpful to not have to job search alone, as you
Mhm,
said. But one thing I'm hearing as a theme for you is really the confidence and the
mhm,
support. Like you
mhm.
just felt confident throughout your job search. I'm sure you had some moments
Oh,
of,
yeah.
yeah, but like knowing that the support was there was really helpful in guiding.
Mhm. Yeah. And it was really structured too. Like, this is the process, the best practices from all of your experience and your colleagues' experience. This is how you stand out. And I actually, one of my interviews for a different position that I ended up saying no thank you to, had told me, like, you had the best cover letter I've ever read. And frankly,
Mhm.
it came from your template that I just reworded. So, um, you know, what you have to provide your clients is incredibly, it's golden.
Well, thank you. Um, I don't take that lightly from a type A person such as
Oh,
yourself.
well, I appreciate that you understand the value of that. But
Aw.
yeah, my experience with you and your team has been life changing without the intent of sounding corny. But it certainly, like I said, I feel like I've leveled up in my career and my professional life. I see myself setting goals that I had never thought of before. And it was that spark of that silly Facebook message or ad that came out at that one point. So, um, you know, say yes to opportunity. I've won with that.
The algorithm is really insanely creepy, but
A little.
let me, let me just double check if we have one question for you. Is HHF relevant for the non-corporate sector, so nonprofit, or is the hiring process too different? I could answer that.
Yeah, I don't have
Okay.
NPO experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say a lot of people move into nonprofit, that they also move from nonprofit. So it's very applicable across the board for sure. Okay. I think, Jen, I just for the sake of time and being
Mhm.
respectful, thank you again so much for
Of course.
sharing your journey and inspiring what is possible. I so appreciate you very, very
Of
much.
course. Yeah. And thank you for all that you did. And it was my absolute pleasure to share here.
Um,
Best of luck to those listening along. You can do it. Believe me. Just believe in yourself and invest the time. You're worth it.
I love it.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Of course.
All right. So Jen is incredible. And again, so many great nuggets of wisdom and value there. I am now so excited to introduce our second Happily Hired Formula alumni, who's Claire McFadden. And drum roll, Claire.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So I think a lot of people will be very excited to hear from you because you are now a recruiter.
Yes, I am.
So I know you're a recruiter in New Jersey. Can you tell me a little bit about what you were doing before becoming a recruiter?
Yeah. So previously I was in tech sales and it was heavily cold calling and selling software over the phone. And I did do really well. And then in the beginning of the pandemic, I was laid off.
Mhm.
And I did a lot of thinking and reflecting, as many people did in quarantine. And I was like, I really don't want to go back into tech sales. I know I'm good at it, but I just got really burned out. And I was always drawn to recruiting. I was like, this is just something I think I would be really good at. And so I made it happen.
Amazing. Okay, I am going to dig into all of that. So you were laid off. Did you like job search immediately? What happened?
Well, I was actually living in another city and it was really bad timing. So I lost my job and I ended up having to go back home. And I'll be honest, I was on unemployment and the money was so good. So I got a few certifications and something new. I enjoyed my time off with my family. And then I want to say about a few months later, I began the job search. There were some rough points where I had to withdraw from the job search. But then once I was able to get back on my feet, I got back into the job search.
Wow. Oh, I appreciate your honesty. And I know that could be so much. It's kind of a beautiful thing sometimes when layoffs happen or resignations happen, just because it really allows us to kind of hit reset
Yes.
and almost like force us to look at our lives. But I love that you took it as an opportunity to really start to narrow in on what you wanted next. Like it sounded like your job search into becoming a recruiter was very intentional.
Yes, it was something that I really wanted.
Yeah. How did you know that, by the way?
Well, I've always had a good eye for who I think would be good for what. So, for example, when I was in tech sales, I was heavily into self prospecting, and I always had a good eye for who I think would be good for the software.
Mm.
And at one of my jobs, I had a friend who was a recruiter, and I would watch her do it, and I just thought I would be really good at that. I don't know what gave me that intuition, but I was like, I know I could be good at that. And
Incredible.
um, I'm so glad I made it happen thanks to the happily hired formula.
Oh my gosh. All right. I hope everyone's taking notes, by the way, like what you just shared in terms of your transferable skills. Oh my gosh, my heart is singing right now as a recruiter. Um, so, Claire, I would love to hear were you job searching the old way before you joined HHF? Or did
Yes.
you
So
just
I was doing this thing where I was applying on LinkedIn, just like blindly applying, and I would just send out like mass applications, not really thinking about it, just sending out applications to all these companies. I wasn't being very intentional with applying, and either what would happen was I wouldn't hear back or I would get an automated rejection letter and I knew a human didn't see it, or I would go on an interview with a company I wasn't that passionate about to begin with.
Yes, just the mass spray and pray. And then you're like, oh, I got an interview. What does this company do?
Yeah.
Let me do some research. Okay. So what made you decide to join Happily Hired Formula?
Yeah, so I think in my LinkedIn message, I told you I had a loss in the family this year.
Mhm.
And the day of the funeral, when I got home, I saw an ad for the Happily Hired formula on Facebook, and it just struck a chord in me. It felt very different. I just got a really good vibe from it. So I didn't sign on immediately, but I did a lot of research. I watched videos like other people did, like what we're doing right now. I did my research, but I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't want anyone to tell me no or try to steer me away from it, because I think I knew in the back of my head I was going to do it. So I just thought, you know what I'm doing isn't working. Why not take a chance? So I did.
Wow. I love how intuitive you are, Claire. Like it just sounds so your
Thank you.
intuitive voice sounds so strong and you actually listen to it, which is incredible. And it hasn't led you astray, it sounds like. But I love what you just shared there about not sharing with other people that you know would project their fears, because so many people, yeah, like they're not ready for what you're experiencing, but they have an opinion about it.
Yeah, it made me just hearing you say that. I know you said in one of the modules, when you're thinking about your career, when other people give their opinion, they have good intentions, but no one knows better than you. And it just intuitively, I knew that. And so I was just like, I don't want anyone to tell me no or try to tell me otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. We could talk about this forever because I people are so well-meaning, but yeah, truly like you have to decide for yourself. So you decided for yourself. Tell me a little bit about what got you in the door of your current company. How long was your job search? Give me the juice.
Yeah, so I started the Happily Hired formula in June of this year, and I signed the contract with my current company just over a month ago. Um, what really helped me were the templates to send to a hiring manager on LinkedIn. That was probably 1000% the reason why I got noticed. So I got to the point where it was time to make a template. And I was like, all right, this is it. I really think this is what's going to help me. You know, the entire thing helped me, but it was really the template. So I came up with my own template catered to my experience and my strong points. And I started sending them out to hiring managers. I got a few interviews, a few didn't go through, but I sent the template, my script to my current manager. And that day he wrote me back and he was like, Claire, please send this to my email. I sent it to his email. And the next day I got the interview. And then that week I signed the contract for the role. And he said,
Wow.
we like the fact that you were a go-getter and you reached out to us instead of just applying and waiting.
Oh my gosh. Speaking my language. I love it. Okay, so now I have to ask because you're a recruiter now. Do you scrutinize candidates in a different way, having gone through the Happily Heard formula, or are you more lenient?
Yes, I think about the happily hired formula all the time. And I have actually recommended the happily hired formula to a few people who we weren't able to bring on board. And I just feel like there's so many things that I could help these candidates do, like little things that they could change, whether it be in their phone interview and their resume or their speaking skills that they could easily improve on.
Mhm.
Not all of, like a lot of the people who I speak to are extremely well spoken, have great resumes, but maybe for like the entry level, more junior person, I feel like there's so much that I could help them with that could help them improve.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as a recruiter, you start to see like it's very blatant, all of the areas that people need improving upon. But I'm just so curious because now you've gone through like, this is what candidates should do. And you're probably seeing it very clear, black
Yes.
and white.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you talk to us a little bit about what did you ultimately walk away with, tangible or non-tangible?
Um, I walked away with confidence, knowing that I can be able to transition into a new role. You know, I didn't have recruiting experience before this, and I thought, well, maybe I will have to go back into tech sales. I didn't want to, but I was like, you know, I have to get a job. I might just have to. And to really invest in myself, I feel like this program will help me for the rest of my professional life, no matter where my career journey takes me.
Yeah, it is a repeatable process, that's for sure. You've learned the skills now. I
Yes.
love that. So can I ask, how did you make like, what do you think attributed, aside from like the solution message to the hiring manager, like your ability to um, connect the dots between tech sales to recruiting and like convince that employer to be like, okay, I'm not the traditional candidate, but you should still hire me?
Yes. So one of the things that you said in the happily hired formula were about skills that each and every one of us have. So, for example, someone could say, like you said, well, I'm really well organized, but wait, isn't everyone really well organized? And one of my strong points is that I'm extremely well spoken. I can articulate myself very well. I speak very clearly. And I always thought, well, doesn't everyone? But then I realized not everyone can speak clearly. So I was able to go in kind of with the guidance that I got from the happily hired formula and say, I know I don't have recruiting experience, but I'm extremely well spoken. I connect really easily with others. I have tons of experience on the phone. That's why I'm the strongest candidate for this role.
Beautiful. Yeah, I can attest to your communication skills.
Thank you.
So Claire, just to be respectful of your time, I would love to ask, what would you say is the most helpful about this program?
First off, it's extremely well laid out from start to finish. Just everything about like clarifying your purpose all the way up to the interview process. Probably the most helpful would be the templates that you laid out. It helped me get extremely organized and really think about what I was going to say before my interviews, at least for me.
Yeah, beautiful. And then my last question for you is, if anyone were on the fence right now, what would you tell them?
I would say if you could have found a job on your own, you would have done that already. You know, I've found jobs on my own before, but I can confidently say now I'm in a really good place and I'm in a really good company. And I think it's with the assistance of this program, it's because I found that. So why not take a chance and invest in yourself? My dad always says, not taking a risk is the biggest risk at all, is the biggest risk of all. So take a risk and invest in yourself. Only good things can come from it.
Yeah, no risk, no reward.
Yep, that's what it is.
Thank you, Claire. Let me just double check if there's any questions for you that we can address really quickly. Why did you have to withdraw from the job search? What was the low point? I think you talked about that, the death in the family.
Yeah, I had a death in the family and I had some health issues. I didn't feel like I was at my best self. There was a lot going on. That's why I had to take some time off and be with my family.
Yeah, I think that's so important too, to like honor what's going on, because I think a lot of times we put so much pressure in like trying to force something to like happen. And there's just so much out of our control in terms of timelines, opportunities. But all we can do is like really listen to what's coming up for us and honoring that. And I love that you did that, Claire, because my sense is even if you didn't take the time off, but you really needed it, it would have just taken just as long to get to where you are, because there's
I think you're right. And to be in these interviews, you really have to bring your best self forward.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Claire. I so appreciate you and just sharing your journey and inspiring what's possible. Any final parting words before I let you go?
I guess what I just said before, if you're looking for a job, I would definitely recommend trying it. You won't be disappointed.
Well, thank
Thank
you,
you for
Claire.
having me.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. All right, so now you've heard from Claire and Jen. They were literally both in your seats not too long ago on day 4 of the last sprint that we held earlier this year. And I hope that you guys just see what is possible when you can let fear subside and or like Jack Canfield says, like everything you want is on the other side of fear, which Claire hit on, and I think is so true. So I would love to hear from any of you if you have any questions. But as I mentioned at the beginning, I know last night we went over on time and I didn't get to go through the whole Happily Haired formula system and what it's about. So I'm going to go ahead and go through that and also extend the same bonuses and discounts that I extended last night. Because again, I know so many of you guys missed out on it, which I really apologize, but also thank you for your patience. So let me go ahead and share my screen actually. And Perez, if we can remove the banner, that would be helpful. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So with the Happily Hired formula, this is really the program, my job search coaching program that walks you through the A to Z of job searching and make sure that you get support at every turn. If you have any questions, they don't go unanswered. So I want to share that this program is really designed for anybody who wants to learn the 2021 way of job searching, like Claire said, in terms of reaching out directly to an employer. Same thing with Jen, really being that proactive candidate. This is really for anybody who's seeking a full-time job, including remote positions. And if you're currently an international student or a international professional that needs H-1B, or you're on an F-1 visa status right now, this will help you as well. This works for any stage of your career. I have people who are entry level that are just graduating from college and they're really being proactive and learning these skills very early on in their careers, which is so helpful. I also have mid-level and even senior level professionals that are like, I wish I knew all this earlier in my career. I would have saved a lot of headache and heartache. And it's really applicable to any type of job that requires you to interview. So if it's nonprofit, for-profit, tech startup, Fortune 500 company, a government agency, all of this works. And we've had alumni go through all of the different transitions and industry switches. And this is, again, really for people who are open-minded, ready to learn and grow, and you want to make a career move within the next 6 months or as soon as possible. And most importantly, you understand the importance of investing in yourself, like Claire said, and also the importance of hiring an expert, like Jen said. So inside the Happily Hired formula, you do get access to 8 core modules. The modules are broken down through all the stages of job searching, from claiming your confidence to getting career clarity to building a career story to creating a resume, a LinkedIn, learning how to network online and get visible, to how to then get your interviews and crush them, to then how to negotiate. And we really cover everything in these modules. They're about 10 plus hours of training, but they're very concise, direct, to the point, like this is what you need to know, and let's go ahead and do it. And there's also templates so that you can really put into action everything that you're learning. So just to go through, we kind of went through each of the modules, but I want to share these modules are really typically very short. I would say like on average, they're about 5 to 10 minutes. Again, our goal here is not for you to just sit there and learn all day, but instead really make sure that you're putting in the action that's going to generate the results. Okay, so, each module is intentionally designed. Once you understand what you want to target and you fill out our target dream job worksheet, oops, I'm going out of order, then you can then create a career story and start stringing that together. We also have fill in the blank templates for a lot of the different aspects of your job search so that you don't have writer's block. And then once you create your LinkedIn profile, this is actually what's going to really help because one, you're going to get excited about employers looking at your profile. But two, a lot of your outreach, and even when you get to the interview stages, a lot of companies will cross-reference your LinkedIn profile. So you just want to make sure this is as optimized as possible. But also every day, recruiters are literally typing in keywords in certain locations, and they're trying to find candidates like you. But if you don't have an optimized LinkedIn profile, you're not going to show up, and that's a missed opportunity. Module 5 then is to create your ATS friendly resume. This just means applicant tracking system friendly resume, where you want to make sure that at a glance, you can get your message, your value proposition down, and ultimately spark that conversation where the recruiter is interested in learning more so that they can invite you in to schedule an interview and learn more about you. Module number 6 is what both Jen and Claire highlighted that they felt made the biggest difference in getting visible instead of just applying online and waiting. We actually have templates for all different scenarios. What do you do when you apply online? Who do you reach out to? What would you send to a hiring manager versus a recruiter versus an HR person? Because all your messages will be different depending on who your audience is. So again, all of the fill in the blank templates are here. And that's really our goal because when you're applying online, you're not guaranteeing that your resume gets picked out of the pile. Oftentimes there's sourcers, but sometimes they just kind of get buried. As a recruiter, we used to call our ATS system the graveyard, the resume graveyard, where things just kind of go in, but not necessarily sprout back out. So this is really the pinnacle of how to get visible, how to start building relationships, how to build your target list of organizations that you actually want to work at and start to make those connections. You're always one conversation away from getting an interview and an offer letter. So then once you start doing that, you're going to get interviews, and this module will walk you through all of the preparation, what you need to be doing before, during, and after. I recruited for so many years and interviewed thousands of candidates. I can tell you exactly what the top candidates are saying, how they present themselves, what Jen said earlier about making sure you smile, like all of the little psychology things are in here so that you feel the most confident and prepared in your interviews. And then, of course, after you get your interview, you want to negotiate your package. And in here is literally the email template that so many of our students use. They fill in the blanks and send it off and or have a phone conversation, and they leverage an average of 20,000 or more in their compensation package. So this truly is everything from walking you through getting confidence all the way to negotiating. And the beautiful thing about this program is you have 24/7 access, so you can jump around when you want to. You also get lifetime access, so you can work at your own pace. We've had students who were just very, very eager to get a job as quickly as possible. They really hunkered down. They made it a point to do like one module a week. Some of them have done 2 modules a week. Whatever works for you. We have other people who are like Jen, juggling family and a full-time job. So they kind of work at a slower pace, but they ultimately get to building that foundation that allows them to start getting seen, visible, get interviews, and get offers. So I want to share, in addition to those 8 core modules, we also offer 6 core bonuses. And these are bonuses to each module that we just wanted to do a deeper dive training on. So we have one on confidence and mindset, literally how to look at your life and your job search in 7 different ways. And this is really a lot of people said eye-opening because they realize where they're limiting themselves. And if you have like anxiousness, you're finding yourself in procrastination, you feel like you have imposter syndrome or self-doubt, this is a really great way to just learn how your mind works and get you to operate from the level that's actually going to serve you. We then have a special training from one of our other recruiters turned career coaches, Kate Rogers, and she did a training on how to connect your dots and really put together your career story. So if you feel like you have a very non-traditional background, you're making an industry switch, a title switch, a department switch, this training will really help you. We also took 6 top resume templates. So if you ever wondered, like, what do people at Google or Salesforce or any of these other top organizations look like on paper? We've actually taken resumes and given you the templates so that you can fill in your own blanks with. In here, we also in the networking module have a whole extra module, module on how to enhance your connections and ensure that you're getting the highest conversions, what to write in subject lines, how to make sure like you reduce the friction as you're trying to get people to have informational interviews with you. If you've ever wondered what do people in a successful informational interview talk about, we did a whole video recording on that and analyzed it. This mock interview with the CEO is incredibly powerful if you want to be a fly on the wall and see what a successful interview looks like. A CEO actually interviewed me. We did a whole video recording, and he actually broke down what I did really well, what I could have improved upon. And it's just a really great interview to ground yourself in seeing what do I want to emulate and model as I go into my next interview. And then we also offer accurate salary data reports by industry and location. So if you are using Glassdoor, payscale.com, these are often very self-reported numbers, and a lot of recruiters will kind of dismiss them because they're not super accurate. But we actually have reports by compensation analysts and consultants across different industries for all 50 states. And literally you can cite the source and the number given, and it's really hard to object to your research. So then the other thing, in addition to all of this, and this is what really helps Happily Hired Formula students, is the customized support and accountability pack. Your background is different. You are going to have nuanced questions that come up. You may have like a one-off conversation. You don't know how to respond to a recruiter. You don't know what to do about XYZ. Any questions you have, you literally can ask inside of our private Facebook group. And we get back to you within 1 to 2 business days. Often it's the same day because we're like refreshing it a lot of times. But literally any questions you have, anytime you feel stuck, there's no cap on how many questions you can ask. And it really serves as a support system. There's so much great accountability that happens here. As Jen mentioned, people are constantly sharing the best resources, what really worked for them. Sometimes they're also sharing their frustrations, and that's super helpful to know you're not alone, but also to get that support and that feedback. But really, any questions you need, anything that is on your mind, ask and you shall receive an answer. And then here, I went out of order, but we also offer 12 monthly live group coaching calls with a life coach and 12 monthly live group coaching calls with a career coach. So these happen twice a month, and it's really to help you with whatever's coming up for you. If you want to do hot seat coaching, you can do that. Oftentimes we have additional trainings just based on any new strategies that are happening. If we see a lot of people feel burned out with juggling job search with career and personal life, we do burnout trainings. So there's actually a whole library of previous calls that you have access to as well. But just know that twice a month, there's an opportunity to get live group coaching. And yes, I facilitate these calls as well. And in between calls, if you still have questions, things are coming up for you, you don't have to wait for the next call. You literally just ask inside the Facebook group and we respond. So just to recap everything, you get 8 core job search modules, 12 monthly group coaching calls with a life coach, as well as 12 with a career strategist. You get unlimited Q&A customization inside of our private Facebook group. You get the 6 core bonuses. We actually have another bundle that we're throwing in there of just additional job search resources, like 7 other ways to get visible. And then our Happily Hired guarantee is that you get ongoing support until you land your dream job. This one's huge. We recognize a lot of the career coaching packages out there are like, you pay $3,000 for a 3-month container. Once 3 months is up, it's up. We want to make sure that you're not just taking the first job that lands in your lap, but you're being intentional about your job search. So sometimes that takes time. And if 3 months is passed, no worries. If 6 months is passed, no worries. I mean, obviously we want to get you to where you want to be as quickly as possible, but we want to make sure that you're not just taking any job, but a dream job. So the total value of everything here, if you were to price it a la carte, is $8,190. But I announced yesterday for enrollment, usually this program is retailed at $1,597, but we are offering $300 off right now for this enrollment period. And so it's $1,297 as a one-time payment, and you get lifetime access to all of the course modules, all of the updates. Or if you need a monthly payment plan, in the past, we've had so many students say, I really want to join, but I can't invest that much up front. Can you put together a monthly payment plan? So usually it's $299 a month for 6 months. But with the $300 off, we took $50 off each month. So it's $249 a month for 6 months. And then once you finish that final payment, you also get lifetime access to all of the updates, the Facebook group, and so forth. So if you're interested, Carez is actually going to put in the link to sign up for the program. And essentially on the page, you can fill out your information. I highly recommend you use the email address that is the one that you check most often so that you can get important updates and know about the upcoming group coaching calls. But this is really important. If you want to take advantage of $300 off, be sure to type in Dream Job 300 and then put apply coupon code. And then you can check out with credit card or PayPal and what to expect. So then after that, you'll get a welcome email. You'll get instant access to everything, including the link to join our private Facebook group. Our next group coaching call is the first Wednesday in November. So you'll get access to that. But when you join, I recommend that you just jump to the welcome module. It'll say start here. Read through and see where you're currently at in your job search and feel free to go through it. And of course, if you have an interview next week, jump to the interview module. If you have an offer, jump to the salary negotiation module. You can always go back to the program from the beginning if you want to, but I know each and every one of you are at different stages. So just know you get 24/7 instant access. And this is what I offered last night. And I know so many of you guys said you didn't make it to this part of the webinar because we were just having so much fun jiving on the training. So I wanted to offer it to you today as well. So if you pay in full before, I guess this ends technically, you do the one-time payment option. We are offering a fast action bonus that's worth $349. And essentially what this is a resume and LinkedIn audit. So when you complete the resume module, send us your resume. We'll go through and record our screen and give you honest, candid feedback from top to bottom. Anything that needs to be changed, anything that needs to be improved, and same thing with your LinkedIn. From top to bottom, here's what you need to change, here's what you need to improve, so that you can make sure this is as strong as can be. I will share LinkedIn is the most important, again, because you want to make sure this is optimized to where you're headed. Too many people focus on where they've been and they're wanting to leave where they are currently, but they're still talking in that space. So we want to make sure that you're really branding yourself appropriately. And then same thing with your resume, a lot of first impressions. I wish Claire was still here. She could probably vouch for this, but recruiters really do give a couple second glances before they decide if you're going to continue if we're going to continue investing to read more about your resume, or we're just going to dump it. So you want to make sure that your resume and your LinkedIn are in tip-top shape. And again, I talked about the Happily Hired Guarantee. We're here to support you until you land your dream job. This isn't a, one and done, goodbye, good luck. I will say that I started off career coaching and doing one-on-one calls for $350 an hour. This is the market rate, by the way. Most career coaches charge anywhere from $300 to $700 an hour. But what I realized is you can't possibly go through everything in one's job search in just an hour. And every time I hung up the call, I was like, oh, I wish I could give them the template of what to say versus just talking about how to do it. And then the other containers that are really common are 3-month packages where they're anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. And again, sometimes job searching takes time. Claire got her job in 3 months. I think Jen's took 5 months, but the idea is that we're shortcutting your job search no matter what, and you're making sure that you're aligning yourself to a dream job. Like Jen, she rejected 2 other offers because they just weren't the ones that she could be happy in, like the one that she is in today. And that's our goal here. So here's a recap of everything. 8 core job search modules again, lifetime access, 24/7 access, all of the templates, all the solution messages, everything is in there. You can take out the guesswork of your job search. You can ensure what is a recruiter actually wanting to see and hear. It's all laid out for you. The exact verbatim scripts, everything is in here. The 12 monthly group coaching calls, with the life coach and the career strategist, unlimited Q&A customization in our private Facebook group, our bonus core bonuses. And then again, if you join before, I guess this ends, and you do the pay in full, that special link will give you the resume and LinkedIn audit, and you'll get instructions on how to redeem that. And then most importantly, what I love about this program is the community, the accountability, and our guarantee that we're going to support you until you land your dream job. So it doesn't get better than that. So let me just double check if you guys have any questions. I'm happy to stay on and answer these. I don't take your investment lightly. And so I just want you to feel really confident when you're investing in yourself. Let's see. Let me take off. Oh, actually, I think that's okay. So if you have any questions, certainly let me know. Will you have the free LinkedIn and resume review you mentioned yesterday? Yes, I'm extending that right now because I know so many of you guys missed it. By the way, if you're joining me you're joining the Happily Haired Formula, definitely let me know in the chat so I can welcome you officially. Let's see. So Melissa, do we have to finish certain modules before participating in the group coaching sessions? Absolutely not. You can be in any stage of your job search and benefit from these group coaching calls. With the life coach, it's really oftentimes hot seat coaching. So if there's something coming up for you, you feel like you're struggling with anything, it doesn't always have to be job search related. There's an opportunity to get actual coaching from our certified life coach. And we also do breakout rooms, is another way that our life coach likes to facilitate these. Essentially, whatever is the lesson or the theme, they'll actually put it into a practice and kind of break it into small groups. And our students love it. They feel like they're actually connecting with others, which is so important in the job search process, but also it's just so valuable in really working from the inside out. We're not just focused on strategies. Strategies, as you know, only gets you so far. If you don't feel confident, like what Jen said, or you don't feel like you're worthy or secure, there's so much that we may subconsciously be doing and not even recognizing it. So absolutely jump into any of the sessions that you can, and they're all recorded. They are all uploaded and you can visit them at any time. Diana, how do you balance the fine line when reaching out to hiring managers between being assertive and pestering? I promise if you use our templates and even our follow-up templates, you are going to be proactive, which is, what Jen said allowed her to get hired, and Claire too. These are really written from this perspective of a recruiter. I will tell you, as a recruiter, I used to get a lot of messages that just went to the delete folder because people don't know how to communicate to a recruiter and a hiring manager, and really making it less about them, but more about the company. So if you follow our templates to a T, I promise you, nobody's going to be like, oh my God, why did Diana send me this? Who is this? This is so annoying. They're going to be like, who is Diana? Let me take out her resume, pull her out. Let me check her LinkedIn profile. And again, if they have a need, your background is a good fit, they're open to a conversation like you saw with Jen and Claire, you will get an interview and you will get an offer. Okay, let's see. How important is it to remain active on LinkedIn, like sharing content while you're job searching? Ooh, Jennifer, good question. So for me, I always say that you want to walk the walk. So if you are currently, for instance, Claire, for example, who is in tech sales and now she wants to move into recruiting, it never hurts to demonstrate instead of just saying I'm passionate about recruiting, like how can you demonstrate that? And LinkedIn content is a great way to do that. Okay, let's see here. If in a desperate situation, is it better to take any job you can get through? You know it's a toxic environment and you possibly won't last long, or wait until you find a job you like with a good environment? Destiny, this is really up to you. Again, nobody knows your situation better than you and your financial situation. Like, I know nothing about you, so it would be hard to answer this question. What I would say though is, how do you perceive your job hunt? Because right now there's if you're like, dire need right now is I need to get income coming through, then maybe that dream job is a short term, like, how do I sustain myself, get my basic needs met? And the important thing here, though, is that you don't fall into the trap of just being comfortable and not putting together a plan to get out of the situation, right? But I also have a lot of people, such as Jen, who, well, she was working at the time. Maybe Claire's a better example. She may have had enough budget to be like, no, this doesn't sound like the right opportunity. I don't think this aligns with my values. I'm going to go ahead and reject this so that I can open up myself to other opportunities. And I think that's the biggest advice that I would give, is really knowing what you value. What are your values? How does this align with your values? And if it doesn't align, just really trusting that when you say no to something, you open yourself up to something even better. But again, it's hard for me to say that without knowing your financial situation. Karez, if you could type in, what is the Superstar Standout Bundle? That would be helpful. I think what this is we've done so many trainings, and we have, for instance, I know what this is. This is how to create a portfolio PDF. So if you're kind of like in a more aesthetic type of role, and or you really want to wow an employer by sending over a portfolio, we teach you how to do that into a PDF. There's also a training on how to do a 30, 60, 90-day plan for your company. So actually, this was created because we had a student who was going in final round interviews, and she was asked to create a 30, 60, 90-day plan. And when you Google search 30, 60, 90-day plan, they're completely incorrect plans. They're not for job seekers. They're for like once you're in the position. So I actually put together a whole training and a whole template, so you get that too. But we've actually had people, even when not requested to create one, they proactively created one as they were stepping into their second or final round interviews, and they've gotten job offers. The companies were like, yes, we want you. Like, that's an amazing plan. So hopefully that answers your question. I think there's one more training in there. Oh, I know what this one is. This one is how to create a balanced schedule in your job search. So if you're kind of wondering, like, how do I block out time? How do I stop? How do I really put together like the activities that are going to get me to where I want to be and sustain it with a crazy hectic schedule? We have a training on that we've done as well. Okay. I don't see any other final questions. Definitely let me know if you have any that are coming through. So Sprout, yes, this is very relevant to the nonprofit sector as well. Do you have to negotiate your salary? You don't always. I recommend it and advise it because it's just helpful. You never know what you're leaving off the table, and it doesn't hurt to ask. So you might as well. And I am so proud, by the way, of so many of you guys emailing me last night saying, I wasn't able to make it to the very end, but can I still take advantage of the pay in full bonus discount? And I've been saying yes, because I just want to acknowledge you for even making the ask. And I think that's so important to just advocate for yourself. If you haven't asked, ask it, and you never know what you're going to get. Let's see. I have a product manager interview coming up and I need to have a portfolio. So I for sure will be using the template in the Superstar bundle. Awesome. And then also, as you're going through, we actually do have a lot of product managers in this program. So feel free to ask any questions inside of the Facebook group. We can definitely support you. One of our career coaches is actually a former tech and UX tech and UX recruiter. That was her specialty. So we can give you a lot of feedback and advice on what kind of interviews you have. We also have a lot of clients who have gone through a lot of the tech companies' interview processes, like Amazon, Google, et cetera, et cetera. So we can tell you like what to expect, what kind of questions they're going to ask, et cetera. So feel free to just share whatever's coming up for you as you prepare for the interview, but also go through the Crush Your Interview module, because I think it will just prepare you in the best way possible. Let's see, my takeaway from yesterday's webinar: I'm expected to negotiate my salary because it can demonstrate my business acumen. Yes, I'm clapping for you, definitely. Okay, cool. So I don't see any other questions coming through. I guess I'll just answer some of the questions that I got yesterday as well, because I'm sure if one person's thinking it, a lot of you are thinking it. So somebody asked, like, what if I'm not ready to make a switch right now? And the answer is I would still join, because one, again, you get lifetime access, 24/7 access, but also job searching. I hope, if you don't take anything else away, I hope you take away the fact that job searching takes time and it takes preparation and it takes intention. My best advice for you would be to, even do like one lesson a week. Totally fine. But I hope each and every one of you have an optimized LinkedIn profile. And in the module, it literally takes an hour. Go through it, hit pause, do what I tell you to do. My goal for you is to wake up to messages from recruiters asking you, hey, I saw your profile. You seem like a good fit. By chance, are you interested in learning about a new opportunity? Because the best thing you can do is open yourself up to opportunities, and you get to control, I'd love to hear more about that, or no, not right now, but I'd love to stay in touch, and really build your pipeline. But a lot of job seekers, what I see is they don't really take any time in doing the preparation and building the foundation. And then it's suddenly like, oh no, I got laid off, or I got fired, or I'm really unhappy. And oh my gosh, like, how am I going to network now? Out of the blue, I feel bad, like just reaching out, because I don't want them to think I'm only reaching out because I need something. Somebody just told me about this opportunity and they said, pass me your resume. But oh my gosh, like, I haven't updated my resume since 2018. And now you're like scrambling at the last minute. I would rather you kind of like make baby steps to ultimately get to where you want to be. and or just make it like more manageable and find the momentum, because you never know what opportunities are going to come your way. And they always say luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? We don't know when the opportunity may necessarily come out, but we want to make sure we're prepared. Okay. Let's see. Ross, yay. No worries. No need to apologize. I'm still on the phone and emails for work. Oh my gosh. Way to multitask, but so excited to support you inside of Happily Hired Formula, Ross. Let's see. I missed this information. How can I access the Facebook group? Yes. So inside of the welcome module, sorry, I don't know your name, La Karimella. Go through the welcome module. It'll set you up for success, but there's also a direct link into the Facebook group. Okay, so I think that is it for now. One last question that I think I got yesterday is it a good time to job search right now because of the holidays? And my answer is yes. I don't know if you guys know this, but the recruiting frenzy kind of starts in January. It is true, like November, December, people are taking a vacation or they're doing PTO. And so sometimes like interviews get pushed off until everybody's back in the office or back, working. But it's a perfect time to start preparing because one, the holidays are approaching and I have some customized templates for you on what to do to reactivate now that the holidays are here and you can reactivate your network. And also too, again, most companies are going to start hiring like crazy in January because they have to use their fiscal budget up by February. And again, you don't want to be at the last minute just now starting to think about this. I think November, December is a perfect time to put in all of the foundations, get your interview prep ready so that as you get interviews, you can just feel so confident and prepared in every stage of that process. Bella, what if I'm currently working remotely out of the country and looking for a new job opportunity in the country? How to update the LinkedIn without alerting current employer? Yeah, so we actually talk about this extensively inside of the LinkedIn module. We can help you with your settings, but also I think one thing that's important to recognize is like our employers aren't really looking at our LinkedIn profiles as much as we think they are. And you also are your own individual. A company can't hold you back from thinking about your future and positioning yourself for your future. I will say like most employers will actually be like understanding, they're supportive. And if they're not, then, that's probably not the best employer for you. But what we found is as long as it's not affecting your work quality, your like work product isn't slipping, it really doesn't bear any weight what location your LinkedIn profile says you are. Okay, cool, Akia. I'm so glad to support you inside of Happily Hired Formula. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I will say that tomorrow is day 5. So we are going to talk all about money. This is a very important topic because it just makes no sense that most Americans live in debt. I feel like we got to talk about this. So I'll see you in your emails tomorrow morning. If you have any questions about Happily Hired Formula and if it's the right fit for you, please hit reply on any emails and email me. Our what do you call it? Enrollment is ending this Sunday. So you just want to make sure that you have all your questions answered so that you can make an informed decision. And what else? Saturday. So Friday, we're meeting here at 5:30. We're going to talk about money. And then on Saturday, we have the encore webinar for anybody who missed Wednesday. We're going to go through the webinar by popular demand, popular request. And I can't wait to see you. So that will be 10:30 a.m. Pacific. And I'll email you that location as well. And we'll go from there. Awesome, Destiny. See you later. Thank you. I hope everybody has a great evening, and I hope you enjoyed meeting Jen and Claire, because I felt inspired by what they had to share. And again, just want you guys to know, like, they were literally in your shoes last June, or like about 3 or 4 months ago. Today's June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, 4 months ago. So there you have it. All right. Oh, Zoe, we're going to announce the second scholarship on Saturday's webinar. So hopefully you can see that. By the way, if by chance you are the scholarship winner and you've already enrolled in HHF, we'll just refund you the full amount that you paid. Actually, every challenge or sprint that we do, we end up refunding people, because we just pick people at random. And if you happen to already enroll, great, stay enrolled, but we'll refund you. So if that's what you're waiting for, I wouldn't wait. Don't worry. We're not going to be like matching up names. All right, you guys, take care. Okay, take care, you guys.